What's up, boat lovers? Today we're working on a 51-foot Azimut 2001 with shore power issues. Customer is stating that the shore power end has a burn spot on it, and we're going to show you what the issue is. Stay tuned. Alright guys, today we're working on a 50 amp shore power cable. This is a CRM 50 that is installed on this Azimut, and it is a manual pull out, electric in. So it is freewheel when you need to use it, so you pull it out manually, and when you want to retract it, you push a button to come back in. But I could tell you that this does not come like this from the factory. It is a molded end. So either the cable fell in the water or there was some sort of damage on the end of this cable. So we're gonna fix it the right way. I'm gonna show you what we did. All right guys, you can see that I got the cable disconnected from the pedestal. You can see that we have one leg that it has either a bad connection or water got in there that caused that. So we got a brand new end, and we're gonna try to make this cable look and perform like it used to. All right guys, first things first, let's get this piece of crap off. So, got a nice clean end, and we're gonna go ahead and start prepping for our new products to go on. We've got a white boot and a new plug. This is so much superior. All right guys, there's two kinds of ends, or two manufacturers. You got Hubble and you got Marinco. I prefer Hubble because it's more durable end, steel, and the insert compared to an all plastic product. So all of the items and all the products that I use on any of my shore power repairs are Hubble. So this is the way to go. Sorry, Marinco. All right, you can see the two different kinds of plugs. We got an all plastic plug, and we got a metal base plug and a polymer insert on this particular thing. All right guys, also now we're in the stage of getting the correct measurement for this plug. You don't want to leave too much here, otherwise it's going to come through the boot. So you just want to make sure you cut back enough that you don't expose or you don't go farther into the shielding of this. And now all you're going to do is just reverse the pattern. So we got green on green, W for white, Y is for black, and X right here is going to be for red. So as you can see here, it's the same thing. We got W, we got X, green for green, and then we got Y here. So all we're gonna do is just do this in a reversing pattern, but make sure you put the boot on first and the steps. Otherwise, you're gonna kill yourself. And just wanna say, sorry for the planes. We're only about a mile away from Miami International Airport, and making this one is a little bit tedious because I got planes coming over me all the time. So just do the reversing portion exactly the same way, and make sure that you've put each item in the correct way, because if you miss it, then you have to take everything apart again. So the boot is first, you got the back housing, then you got the sleeve, and then you got the actual plug itself. This one, like I say, I guess they did it because it's a little bit easier. You got the boot, got this sleeve, and you got this. That's it. This one here is a little bit more work to entail to make this happen. But make sure you get the cables cut back, not too much. Now we're gonna clean this up, and we're gonna get this thing into the boot in the orientation that it needed to be. I got the ends cleaned up a little bit. Now I'm gonna go ahead and peel these things back enough. I got all the little fiber hairs, protectors that are inside. Make sure that when you cut these off that you're not cutting any of the sheeting on the jackets. I got my boot on. Try not to cut the end or trim it so that this thing will go on. On some of the cables, you could force it to go on, so you want a nice tight fit on that cable. And then all you're gonna do is just pull it up. Now we're gonna go in the reversing portion. Sorry for my handling. This is gonna go on next. Okay, so you see that I have the boot put on. Try not to cut this portion over here. Try to slide it on. If you need a little bit of lubrication, put some WD-40 on the cable end so you can slide it in. On this 50 amp jacket, it will slide on here and it'll expand the end on this, so it'll be a nice watertight fit here. Now we have our bottom sleeve, and before you tighten up everything, there's another piece in here that locks everything in place. So we have our bottom plate, we have our side shield here, and now we're gonna go ahead and cut back on the jackets on this one so that we could actually put this thing in here. All right, guys, looks like I had to start all over again. Let me show you why I had to cut more back on this. After cleaning all of the connections, this is a clean contact, this is a clean contact, and this is a clean contact, but you can actually see how this contact here is. It's not a clean contact, so we know that this harness or this shore power cable has actually gone into the water, so it's contaminated back, and I found that this part here is cleaner. So we're going to go ahead and redo the end again so that we can have all clean wires going into this. This is what caused this to burn, because the wire wasn't clean. Guys, after cutting back more of the cable so that we could expose cleaner wire, you could actually see I have better contacts. This one is still a little bit dirty, but I'm back far enough that it's going to be able to have more contact on this one. But you want to make sure that you have all your contacts clean, otherwise it's going to cause resistance if it's like that, and your plugs are going to look like that's what's going to happen. So that's the cause of this. This harness, this cable fell into water. Water seeped up through the cable and corroded it, and when they did that, they didn't cut back far enough, so that's why I had to cut back a little bit farther. As you can see here, I had to cut back farther so that we can have a cleaner contact, so that all of the connections for the pedestal or the shore power cable will have a good connection. Okay guys, after all said and done, making sure that you have good contacts on all the wiring pins, this is the way that it's supposed to look like. Nice and clean, no frayed wires protruding to any other legs on here. Okay, so this is a nice clean install. Make sure that you tighten every one of these nuts. Don't leave them loose. Go back over them again and double check, triple check. You leave them loose, it's going to create a resistance in one of the wires, and it's going to cause one of the legs to burn. So that was the issue with this one. We had a bad contact, we had a bad wire that wasn't getting good contact on one of the pins, and you could actually see how much heat this thing was generating because it was starving for current. So guys, make sure, double check, go back more, keep on going back until you find a good clean spot. Once you do, that's fine, but if you go back to a point that it's beyond the length that you need, then it's time to replace the cable. So we were able to salvage this to a point because we took care of it. So now we're going to go ahead and put everything back together in sequence. So this goes into this portion here and here. Also, one thing to let you know, this portion here is keyed. It only will go in one way. So this is a ground, and you have to push this tab down so you can slide it in. Once it goes in, now you turn it and it locks it in place. Okay guys, one trick. If you could see, there's like a little cam down there on both sides. You have one on that side and one on the top. make sure that the thing is locked. Otherwise, you're going to be doing this thing back again. So you have to turn it to lock the cam, and now making sure that when you reassemble this, that you reassemble it, making sure that that cam does not come loose. Otherwise, this center portion will come out. So the way that I normally do it is I lock it. I put on the back cable lock first, and then I pull the back cover into it so it pushes into the housing. Okay, you can see that it's in the cam locks already, so it's positioned right. I tighten my cable sleeve first, and now I bring this portion, my back sleeve, this portion here, I bring this in. Let me zoom out. Now I'm able to tighten these 3 bolts, so now it's pushing it into the housing. So just in case that this sleeve wants to back out, you tighten this one first. So now you're actually taking the outer sleeve of the shore power cable and pushing it in while tightening this. Make sure that this is tight, and then you do this one. Okay, once you got all the connections nice and tight, you double check that it is keyed correctly so it's not going to turn. Now it's time to pull the boot up into this. I like doing this by putting 1 foot here. I'm trying to do this with one hand, guys. And now you slide up. Okay? Just keep on pulling. Pull, pull, pull. You're gonna have to manipulate it a little bit. But now you could actually start seeing it come into the jacket. Okay, if you guys do put this on, it's supposed to look like that. But if you guys do put this on and you do make a mistake, you're probably going to have to put a little bit of soap here on the inside so that you can slide it back down. Okay, so now I'm going to just double check it and verify that I'm all the way up and seated into that it can't go any farther, and then I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. Alright guys, as you can see, we already got the cable end repaired. We got a new hubble in. All the contacts are nice and tight. We did have to take off about 2 feet off of this cord. Now, guys, if your shore power cable does fall in the water, do me a favor, take it apart and inspect it. Verify that no water seeped inside here, because if it did, it's going to create the same issue that he had last time, and it's going to burn the end. So most likely you're going to have to clean it, let it dry, come back. We actually saved this cable. Yeah, it's pretty much dirty, but another thing, you clean this with soap and water, Scotch-Brite, soft scrub. Don't use any harsh chemicals like lacquer thinner, mineral spirits. A lot of people use toluene. I'm not a big fan of that. Soap and water, and that thing will come out bright white. Okay guys, so make sure if your cable does go in the water, take it out, let it dry, and inspect the end. Otherwise you're going to be into problems just like this in the future. Guys, this is a wrap. We're going to leave these parts on the board so the owner could see the condition of the cable, how far I had to cut back, and what caused it. So we're going to have him monitor this cable, but most likely we're going to end up replacing this cable in days to come. So, but the boat needs to leave, so this is just I would want to say a temporary repair, because this is unsafe to have. So we put another end, we cut it back far enough so that we have a good clean cable. So just remember guys, if your cable falls in the water, dry it out, pull it out of the water, and examine the ends. Make sure that the water didn't seep back into the jacket, because you're going to run into this problem and it's not going to be good. You're going to cause a lot of problems. The boat's going to draw a lot of resistance, needing the power when it needs it, and you're going to end up burning the cables. Guys, if you have any questions, please just say it in the comments. Like and subscribe.